Hello, friends and enemies. Glad you're here. This time we're going to be doing a little bit more of a different type of video, I guess, than what I would normally make. So I'm joined this time by Prophet of the Dragon. Hallowed be his
Howdy.
name, I suppose.
Yeah, you got
and
it.
I mean, with the questioner's not exactly the Dragon Sworn side, but yes, that works.
And we collaborate from time to time. We all want
We're bigger on the creator than we are on the dragon. So
we want to smite evil together, right? There you go.
yeah, that's how we do it. But we got the prophet here to help out with some interesting images that came out on Twitter, I believe, recently. I think they also put them on other places, but I think Twitter was the big one. And I wanted to go over some of these images with the prophet and figure out what exactly we're looking at and dealing with. And boy, I'm guessing both what I think it should be and what it is probably going to be compared to what has been the normal content that we have come to expect from the showrunners. He who shall not be named. So I guess we'll start off with the first slide here. What do you think, Prophet? Where could you possibly be in the Wheel of Time continent?
Well, I mean, if we're going by the show, are we going by the show? Because I picture this as Rafe's blight. Maybe, yeah, right. I mean, it's
that's a little too pretty for blight, but yes,
it's lush and full of trees, so it must be the blight, right? According to the show. No,
just make sure you don't touch anything as you sit down and take a nap against it.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. I don't know. I mean, this could we talked about. I'm not the best at like correlating location to in the book, like just the surrounding. Just my brain doesn't work that way. But I would assume. I mean, I would think this is maybe them tracking somewhere in the location where they're tracking after Fane, the group going after Fane. Because I feel like they were going.
I don't feel like they're gonna have a group, honestly. Like I think because Rand wanders off by himself at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's going to be any Shinarans going with them in that regard. There might be another group that has maybe some Shinarans in it, but it won't be with Rand, which is going to be weird because that's going to take them months to get to there because they're not portal stoning everywhere. But I'm assuming they'll probably bring the ways back into it. They'll probably use the ways to jump.
Well, since Moraine's opening them up and can, I guess, traverse them with no problem.
And since Loyal's dead, I mean, he was dead because he's useless anyway. Because
the psychiatrist Machin Shin can help him through.
I know, right? But the only problem is, they're going to be terrified by the truth.
They'll be like, "I'm terrified of the direction right, but I'll go." Okay, thanks, Machin Shin. We'll see you later.
Machin Shin's like, you feel like eating burritos at 3 a.m.
I hate
Taco Bell. Taco Bell.
I'm a burger person.
You know what? That's the truth, man. I am ready for some burritos at 3 a.m.
Yeah, man. What? I can't believe it.
I know comments will be like, Taco Bell's only open till 1. Yes, I am aware. But and it's in Rafe's world, remember? It doesn't make sense. So
I don't know, what do you think? I'm curious because, like I said, I'm not very good with I'd have to read the book to get there, but
the kind of reddish ground really points out kind of a really clay-like dirt substance. So I'm imagining it's probably like a transition between two locations because tree and clay ground is kind of a weird thing to have in a normal situation. But I guess it depends on what they're trying to run with it, or it could just be them panning over an area because I mean you can see telephone poles, so obviously it's kind of like a more downtownish or not.
Yeah, I mean it looks like there's,
but like it's more of a civilization area rather than an open, just blanketed area that they can mess around with like a safari or something.
Yeah.
So if it's not just a blanket spot, like oh look Morocco, because that's I believe they spent most of the time. Was it Morocco that they were?
I think it was Morocco where they're saying that there's some castle out there. I think they were doing the Camelin.
Better not be Camelin because that's not going to work.
Well, I mean,
Camelin's not a castle; it's a town. It's a city. Yeah, I know, right?
Whatever. Yeah, I don't even want to just. You're gonna.
Should we just go to the slide and just thinking it over?
So I think this would probably be. I think you're onto something. I think it's probably a transitional area, but it'll be like one of those mountain shots. Where Rand and Matt were walking on the mountains or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be of any importance.
I'm seeing them come through and like just be in the trees as they're like traveling from point A to point B for a couple scenes.
They got to find their nice spot to have a cry and then move on.
Well, that's assuming they have the noise to make the cry, because they're pretty quiet the whole first season.
Yeah, that's true.
But hey, let's go to the next one just to see. Oh, look at that! What could that possibly be?
So now again, we're talking about. Are we talking about Rafe's Rajanor's vision, or are we talking about? So I'm guessing.
I think you mean Raffinor.
Raffinor, whatever. idiot head. I would say this is going to be Borderlands into maybe transitioning into, I don't know. I think it's going to be some Borderlands because they've already done that for some reason. But for them,
I still to this day do not understand why Shinar is a desert.
Because it's easier to put a kingdom on desert in CGI. That's probably it.
Well, I mean, it's not like you can't do that in freaking snow.
I know, but
I mean, I guess we're gonna skip the entire Bull of the Winds arc. We're gonna skip the entire The Dark One is touching the world arc. We're gonna skip literally everything. Ignore the fact that they constantly mention, the green things that grow outside of Faldara, like all the farms and everything, because so many farms in the desert. But
well, to be fair, they've skipped most of the Eye of the World already.
I mean, they did that in the first episode. They pretty much went to another.
Yeah. So to be fair, they skipped the whole first book. So skipping the Bull of the Winds, no problem.
Yeah, it's not like it's important or anything, or like most of the books like based around the weather.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The crops are failing. We've had winter for like 6 years. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know.
Doesn't matter at all.
They'll summon rain. It'll be fine. But
I want my snow shots. I love snow. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking this is probably going to be them leaving Faldara in some aspect.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is not Faldara, because that was like really red desert. This is more like a tan desert. So I can't really tell if the far distance is piles of stone or if it's actually supposed to be sand. I can't really tell.
Well, I think up front is definitely stone in the foreground. So I know what you're getting at, but
I can't tell if it just continues on and those piles are actually the same thing where it's rock.
It's very hard.
The rock is expected to see in like a wasteland, so you could argue it's the Aiel Waste. But from others, well, I mean, there's a lot of things that would suck. But
yes,
if you're looking at some of the later ones in this slideshow, you can tell they're trying to make like the Almouth Plain, Falm territory as a desert, because the culture that's there is in between Domon and Terabon, and Terabon's kind of like. I think Terabon's supposed to be kind of like Saudi Arabia style, at least with the conical hats that what's his face, the thief catcher, thief taker, whatever you want to call him, Julian Sandar, Julius Caesar,
Orange Julius, bring me a. Oh, sorry.
And Rafe Judkins presents Julius Caesar, the thief catcher.
Orange Julius, the thief catcher. Yeah,
basically. But essentially, when Julian Sandar goes with the group to save the girls and whatever, he gets that little conical hat thing. It's the red hat like Aladdin would wear, which would kind of put it in more of a Saudi Arabian type setting. So Terabon would be kind of like Saudi Arabia. Damon has always been described kind of more like almost India. I don't know if it's completely India, but kind of India-like in that way, especially with the whole clothes fitting the bodies, form-fitting, and almost translucent type thing. As I mean, best merchants out there next to the freaking sea folk and whatnot. Although the sea folk were more barterers in terms of delivery rather than the actual mercantile. But they're both up there in like top two. Right. But the way they've been showing the Falma territory, it seems to be like it's a desert, and I'm like, but why? The equator would be south, not north. And yeah, it goes all over the place. So I'm thinking this wouldn't be a horrible for an Aiel Waste, but is that what they're going to use it for? Well, I don't know.
I mean, I guess it could fit. I mean, it would be a shame to have the Waste come in already, but who knows what they're going to do.
Well, we already know the Aiel are going to be in season 2. That's a given.
Yeah,
we already know this.
Yeah, well,
how much of it we don't know. We don't know if they're going to play like a big part. We're not going to jump to Shadows Rising, I don't think quite yet. But I mean, I don't know at this rate. They're not following the trajectory of the story, so it could literally go anywhere, any way, anyhow.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. Waste is a good guess on this, I think. So
I'm hoping it's the Waste and not somewhere else.
It could be Waste, or it could be them leaving Faldara. It could be either. I don't know. I think you might.
Yeah.
Either way, it could be
That's
one, or it could be neither. Who knows?
And obviously, the tents are part of the guys doing the setup and everything. And I believe there's another shot later on that shows another viewpoint of it. But we'll get to that. So on to the next one. Wonderful shot. Like, I love this shot. It shows the true. It shows the true skill of the writers, considering they're not sitting down and they're not writing. And this is where it should be, with blank pieces of paper.
I just want you to notice the intricate layout of the 4 pens on that paper. I mean,
I know, right?
Chef's kiss, right?
Not to mention the chessboard table.
Yeah, I'm so glad they put this in here. It's so good. So
I mean,
good. It's the best scene I've seen so far.
I can understand. I mean, you're not wrong. I can understand why they would put this in there to kind of like show the cool behind the scenes stuff. And I normally like the behind the scenes stuff for like shows I like the Lord of the Rings TV.
I get it.
But never the Lord of the Rings TV show. The Lord of the Rings movies, the behind the scenes stuff is really fascinating. And I would say if this series was done well, I'd find this really fascinating. I'm just not. I have no confidence in them to make it well.
Yeah.
So not a whole lot on this one, except that it's, this is apparently the writer's room / the reader room for.
I would be
gonna read what.
I would be curious. Is the microphone right in front of Rosamund Pike, since she's the main character?
Actually, I think she's on the other side of the table.
Okay,
good. The other pictures. I don't know if that mic's actually for. There's a mic on either side of it. I don't know why those are there and like not layered across the entire table, because there's no way you'd be able to fit those things in just that spot. Yeah. But we'll have to just survive with that, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
Next one. Now, this one, it doesn't seem to show a whole lot, but I believe it's the White Tower.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate
because of that like stained glass window in the background,
and the pillars, and just the I think
the styrofoam pillars that are very obviously styrofoam, because no one would do that in any shape or form.
Yeah, just the shape of it, the height. I think that's probably I think that's probably accurate. I think that's fair, and I
would imagine that would be Swan Sanche's Amerlin seat table that she can smack her fist on or her palm on multiple times like she does in the books.
We already know we're going to be spending way too much time in the tower again, so I think that's probably fair.
The ironic part is that outside of like focusing on Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine, and occasionally Min, the White Tower is really not a big part of the series until Egwene ends up being there and being tortured and all that fun stuff. But it's like, it's not even that big of a thing, but they have to play on the Aes Sedai, which doesn't make any sense, because Aes Sedai going out and doing things is more interesting than just sitting here, because no matter how they pit the Seven Ajahs against each other, they're never going to be interesting like Game of Thrones' style of politics was.
Nobody really wants tower politics. At least I know I don't.
They were obnoxious just because they didn't really do anything. Like, they would get angry at each other and they would like spite each other and whatnot, but they didn't do anything. It wasn't like Game of Thrones where, like your political opponent's going to have you assassinated or something.
Yeah, like jockeying for position and all that stuff.
They're vying for power in the most peaceful, passive-aggressive way possible.
Yeah. I don't like the blues because they're blue. It's like reds are dirty. It's like
reds are grody.
Okay. I don't like reds.
They have cooties.
But they have secret boyfriends, even though they're red sisters and hate men. Oh, sorry. I'm going.
Technically, the Reds don't hate men. It's a majority of the Reds do hate men, but Red itself does not hate men. Like Pavara is one of the big ones that doesn't hate men. I'm assuming that was supposed to be that way through RJ, not Sanderson. But
I get you. But Leandrin definitely.
It's definitely general one.
Hates men. But yes, I'm with you.
There's a whole lot of things I could say about Leandrin that I'm going to skip.
Good.
But anyway. As we are. Next one. Ooh, it's Drax, the Destroyer of Worlds.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to I watched this very quickly. I'm trying to what is that?
I believe it's a Shan Shan, because they're going with like they're going hard away from the Japanese cultural look from like
Yeah.
the insect helmets and stuff, like all the artwork we've ever gotten that have always been approved by Robert Jordan and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're going hard away from all of that and
They're
going to their
full-on
own stuff.
prosthetics.
And well, I think the prosthetic was helped with the design. I don't know if they're necessarily putting the prosthetics on every person. But the designs and stuff, like if you remember the last scene of episode 8, when the Shan show up and they're doing like,
and they murder that poor girl.
I know, right? Well, and that poor cliff.
Yeah, I mean,
the erosion just increased by thousands of years from that.
They didn't think the ocean was big enough. They had. Sorry, go ahead.
You guys look like you need a river. Let's help you out with that. Oh wait, you guys are a desert. You need this water really bad.
Exactly. I was gonna say there's too much desert around here. Let's help.
Those crops you keep planting that keep failing, we're gonna help you out with that.
There you go.
But essentially, the way they made the Shan look are these weird like Native American tribesmen with like face painted and stuff. And there's that one guy from Guardians of the Galaxy with the hammer that I can't remember his name. He's played by the guy who plays Thranduil in The Hobbit, but I can't remember the character. You know what I'm talking about? I think it's from like.
It's been a long time since I've seen Guardians, but I think if I'd have to see him.
It's Guardians 1. It's the guy with like the black on the top and the blue jaw. You know what I'm talking about? He's hooded.
Yeah. Okay.
That guy, whatever his name is, but this reminds me of that kind of paint thing. Like half the face is one color, half the face is another. They add all these intricacies that literally make no sense for the Shan because the Shan is described heavily in detail, but then again, they've never paid attention to the source material, so I'm not surprised. And honestly, they should have stuck with the Junker style ships, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't.
They're going, I think, with this route with the like tattoo designs and whatnot for the tops. Maybe they'll make some prosthetic changes. They could be cutting this top piece off to add as a prosthetic for somebody who needs to be bald. Is it the there's the what are the what's the name of the gosh, my brain's just blanking out. What's the name of the, is it Dakovale? The servants of the Shan? Is it Dakovale, right? Or Dakovale, as some people like to think.
Something like that. I mean, I get you.
They're supposed to be half. They're supposed to be like half their hair shaven or something. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we're getting too on, so the bald part doesn't go on.
Yeah. All right,
but that's my guesstimate.
Yeah, I think you're probably
the designs.
Right. I mean, it would make sense seeing what we saw. Seeing what we saw, I would probably say you're probably onto it, but I don't have to like it. But
I know I don't either. But here we are.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Oh, look, alcohol and drinks.
Make sure they get rid of are we gonna have as a Game of Thrones, we're practicing cleaning up the bottles afterwards so they're not on table.
Well, this isn't on set, but yeah, I get the Starbucks.
No, I know.
Starbucks coffee cup reference.
I'm just kidding.
This is, I think, when they're like talking about all the scenes. I don't know if this is them writing it or if this is them explaining it.
Probably a table read of some sort.
Probably. The thing is the people that are on the right that you can see don't look like actors. I think they're either screenwriters, screenplayers, or whatever the different terms could be for all of them.
Yeah, to be a fly on the wall in that room. Oof.
It'd be painful for the fly.
Yeah, exactly.
The fly's like, just hit me and kill me already.
Just put me out. 24 hours is too long. Let's go.
But I mean, it's showing them working. I don't know how much work they're actually putting into it, but hey, at least it's for the PR. So next one. So again, another tower shot. This is a better shot of the previous one, and you can see it's, I believe, Nynaeve in the left.
Yeah.
I honestly have no idea how they came to the conclusion to make the novice and the accepted outfits. I saw them in the show, and I saw little snippets of them here and there. I'm like, I do not understand how they make their design choices, but they're completely impractical for everything that they're used for in the tower.
They're all wrong.
It makes no sense.
It doesn't. None of it.
Like
the costume design of the show has been.
Why aren't they wearing belts? Like they should be tailored as dresses that don't require belts.
It's just
they have the wealth of literally the world, quite literally, because the world pays them money in some form of a tax or something. And they literally can afford whatever seamstress they want to make them whatever they want, and their dresses are white, and then they're like, let's put brown belts on them for reasons. And not to mention the arm. Did you see the arm wraps?
I didn't know.
Oh my
I have
gosh,
to look it up. Where
oh my gosh.
are they on? Just
Like, look at any of the scenes in Tar Valon with like Logain going through.
okay.
There's scenes like you have these girls in white dresses, but they got like these little wraps that go from like their elbow to their hand, and it like wraps around their thumb, almost like a glove.
Oh,
But
I
they're
feel
just
like I know what you're talking about.
yeah,
I'll have to
they're the
look it up.
wraps that are just like little. It's like a little twirly whirly thingy that goes around their arm, and it's just a white little ribbon. And you're like, but why? That's
whole point is they're
completely
just supposed to be-
impractical.
Well, that and it's just supposed to be white robes because they're not supposed to. It's just supposed to be white. Just leave
They're
it.
supposed to be white because they're not supposed to be colors, which would give them the appearance of being some sort of odd job because the odd
Yeah.
job are the colors.
Yeah,
And that's
so I
the
guess-
whole point.
I guess she's brown.
I guess she's found a brown belt in Aes Sedai techniques, I guess.
Boy.
Accepted techniques. But the novices, they did a really like they have like little stitchings. And I think there might be a slide of it in here, but they did these little stitchings. It's like a single stitching of a color, and then they go like a couple inches and do another single stitching of a color. I'm like, that's not how banding works. Like banding is like doing a solid thick color and then touch next to a solid thick color and another thick color, and you would just take 7 and spread it along the width of the cuff. Okay. Like that's all you would do. Like that's literally banding. And then for the bottom, you would do the same thing, but obviously because it's larger, you'd probably have it repeated more often. And it's just like it's at the bottom of the hem and on the cuffs. That's where the colors are for a novice. For an accepted, I don't think they have the colors on them. I don't remember exactly, but I don't believe they do. And it's just like it's just a white outfit. But there's nothing about any type of arm ribbon type thingy. Or it's completely supposed to look cool. And it might if it was like dancers for like some form of odd ballet or something like that, or gymnastics. But it doesn't fit into somebody who's teaching, learning, and possibly getting dirty, because accepted have to do things for Aes Sedai. But not as often as novices. And the novices are going to be covered in dirt all the time because they're cleaning all sorts of things. They're carrying things to and fro and all that jazz. And did you ever notice that the tower looks like super dirty on the floor? Like it looks like the thing's never been scrubbed in its life.
Yeah, it does right there. There's like stuff on it right now.
Sawdust everywhere.
But it's okay. I mean, they don't have to worry about it because
it also doesn't look. It doesn't look like stone. It very much looks like styrofoam.
It does.
Like,
well, Nynaeve knows how to do everything already, so she won't have to.
I know, right? Well, she can just scream with an emotional outburst, and it'll do an auto clean in the entire room.
Yeah, like the Sword of the Stone, it'll just brooms the stuff and start sweeping everything. Yeah,
Beauty and the Beast as well. They'll just come alive. Exactly. Like she can bring inanimate objects to life, and they'll her tea will pour itself. But yeah, it's just like, oh my gosh, we're in the presence of Nynaeve Almira. Oh my gosh, better hurry.
Yeah. Let's clean up. She doesn't have to do anything.
Okay, I mean, if you look at this, it's just like, okay, any artisan worth their salt who's ever worked in Hollywood or anything like that would be able, like, they even have stones stacked for the arch. There are stone artisans would be able to make that much better, if not even one a piece. That would make sense in a piece by piece stone system, because there are some arches you can do in one solid piece if it's a big enough piece. Now, keep in mind that the Ogier were supposed to have built this. The Ogier would have way better techniques than Man would, and Man's not going to be able to do even probably this good a quality.
Well, you got to remember the Ogier don't care about trees in this show either, so because
that's that.
Loyal didn't mention trees or building once, so
well, technically, to be fair, the builders are only the builders as a secondary, not as a primary.
Well, yeah, but this still, I mean.
But everyone knows that's what they're for, so they mentioned Ogier as builders, which they didn't once bring up in the show.
No, not at all. Yeah,
but the quality of above Nynaeve's head is just
it looks
atrocious.
Terrible. It looks so bad. No, that especially. Yeah, that is.
I'm actually wondering which building in Shadar Logoth do you think this came from?
Yeah, yeah, right. It's the exact same
Because,
thing. Only it's
well, I
darker
mean,
in Shadow Logos,
did,
right?
did you see did you see the comparisons they did? There's
I
comparison
didn't.
of there's shots of Shadar Logoth in the dark when they go to Shadar Logoth, and then the shots of Tarvalon when they're parading in the streets. It's literally the same set.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
It's
I did not look
literally
that
the
up.
same set. I'm
Oh
just like,
my
you've got
god,
to be joking.
$100
You
million
guys couldn't even
well spent.
afford,
Yeah,
like, what are they going to say? Oh, the big coronavirus or whatever. It's like, oh, this is what kept us from having two set designers to be able to make two sets out of styrofoam.
yeah.
Instead, we have to do the one.
Couldn't carve foam because of the good old thing. But
Or at the
yeah.
very least, even better, carve one side of it one thing and carve the other
There you
side
go.
something else. You can just rotate it,
Yeah,
and then you
there
have
you
a two
go.
sets in one.
Yeah.
Boom, solve your budget problems. But apparently Amazon has budget problems, which makes absolutely no sense to me. But
Yeah.
okay,
Foam is expensive, sir. All right.
So is real stone. But I feel like you'd probably have a better shot with that. And I'll get to my ultimate comment about props after we get to closer to the end, because we're gonna.
They all are terrible. All right.
Yeah.
Moving
Anyway,
on.
next one. Horseman. That totally. I don't. We. These are probably. This is probably the ideal, honestly.
On
You
horses.
know, riding horses, probably carrying swords.
You're joking, right? I hope. Is that a
No.
joke? You think
I
Aiel
mean,
are gonna be on horses with swords? Man.
Well, this is Rafe.
I want to. Oh man, I may stab my eyes out. Oh dear God! You know,
Dude,
you're probably right. You're probably
Did you see
right.
when we had a pregnant lady swinging her pregnant belly, like literally her
I-
water broken pregnant belly,
I did see
jumping
that.
around and all sorts of things that literally a pregnant woman would never be able to do without killing the baby?
Well, I don't know about you, but my eye is immediately attracted to this person in the bright blue robe. Like, what is
It's
that?
probably a tinker. I don't know. It's probably
maybe
offset
these are all
thing.
tinkers. Maybe I don't know.
Tinkers didn't have many horses that I saw.
No, they
These
didn't.
look like scouts, but
I mean, the horses would be hooked to wagons.
This is true.
I don't know.
But here's the thing, though, is like my point for the Aiel scene was that the spears she's using are longer than typical Aiel spears.
Yeah.
Because Aiel spears are supposed to be the size of like a sword. Because they have range, they can also be thrown, but they have to be handled. And there's so many things you can do with a spear to block a sword, with a short spear, to block a sword block or misdirect an attack at you or something. Yeah. But you also got to be able to hold like 2 or 3 of them in your buckler hand, because the buckler is strapped to your forearm.
Yep.
And then you're also holding up to 3 spears in your hand. She had them on like this wooden basket thing on her back where they like clip onto it.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're not carrying that around.
They're treating them like arrows. It's like, no.
Well, that's the thing, is it's like it looks like a hook holder, but it's like a shield hook holder. And I'm like, they don't carry shields, they carry bucklers, which are very, very small, might I add.
They don't know the difference. Come on.
Obviously.
Come on.
Obviously. But either way, that whole scene was just and I think I can't remember what his name is. He's up there with like Shadowversity. They both talk about naval stuff. It starts with an S, SK or something like that.
Oh man, no, I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
I know who you're talking about. I can't pull
Skirving or
yeah, something like that. No, I know what you're talking about.
He did a great video on the dual wielding spears thing, and the spear, like the thick of the shaft was like a quarterstaff level like thickness. Not a spear thickness, like thicker than a spear. And I was like, there's no way you'd be able to do that, because you'd be able to hold 1 in a hand, let alone 3 or 4 in a hand.
Yeah.
So it made no sense, and they're way too long. And I was just like, this hurts my brain. But I'm guessing they're trying to use this, and this is what makes me also worried, because what looks like it should be the Aiel waist is probably what they're going to go for Almoth Plain.
Hey.
Because if you look at it, you see the stones on the ground. It's not a desert; it's a wasteland.
Yeah, I see the stones. I'm looking.
But Almoth Plain was supposed to be freaking like lush rolling hills. I don't know why this would be a thing.
There's some hills, I guess. I don't know, man. I like when you said ale. When you said ale on horse, my brain short circuited. I'm looking around like
Aiel don't need horses
no, they
because
don't.
Aiel can outrun horses
Exactly.
and
But I'm
have
just
more stamina than horses too.
yeah, I'm trying to look at the surrounding people too, because you got the blue
Well, some of
one
them I
chick.
believe are like stage crew. So, like the guy next to the blue outfit person, I'm pretty sure is
Yeah,
like a guy from the staff showing them like
yeah, it
what's going.
looks like
Like
it.
this is like a behind the scenes in between scene setups, and they're
Yeah,
bringing in people to do stuff. But I'm guessing these are supposed to either be from Terabon or Domon. But which one I'm not exactly sure because they're using like the most generic, bland outfits possible.
yeah, and you know
And they're
what?
wearing like a turban type thing, which doesn't make sense because I don't think either
Well, you
Arad
know,
Damon or Terabon wore turbans. I don't think. I
well,
think
you
out
know
of the
what
two,
gets
maybe Terabon would.
what gets me excited in a sizzle reel for the next season is a very nondescript shot of somebody I have no idea who he is. I'm excited.
It's probably back like somebody who's a support character of a support character
Yeah,
who's a support character of a
yeah,
support
who
character.
knows? Yeah, or just some B reel that they're like, okay, we can show them this. Why not?
This guy was in the back scene of like a very important scene. He's important.
Yeah,
Eh.
I don't know.
Anyway, I don't think there's a whole lot we can really glean from this one, except that I'm worried that they're going to use a wasteland in Almoth Plain, which is not where it fits at all.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Boy.
next one. Wooden swords.
God, man, I hate the way they look too. They look terrible.
They look terrible. Like, I mean, first off, that kind of a hilt will like I learned this from like Shadowverse and other things. Those kind of hilts will totally slip in your hand. They will
hate
totally slip in your hand. You'd want leather or something else that has ridges that would grip your hand that won't slip it when it's wet or something. Because you could have blood in your hand. You could be raining outside. You could have just gone through like wading through a river or something and it got wet. Whatever it's going to be, that's going to slip right in your hand. But also, what the heck is on the freaking blade?
Well, that's what I was going to say. It's like, why are you wasting all the time putting all this intricate freaking detail into the blade? How about you concentrate on the hilt and the stuff that matters and just leave the blade a blade? Just leave it a blade. Nobody cares about all this crap on the sword.
Even the fanciest blades, like Layman's blade or Layman's sword, is going to be gaudy. It's a one of a kind. Yeah. It's literally one of a kind. I mean, and I don't even think that's going to show up in the series because it plays like such a little part.
Like if you're going to do this, just make it a Damascus look and move on. Like you don't need all this intricate scroll work in the blade. Just put that in the hilt, in the crossbar, and
not even the hilt. Like swords are going to be like any soldier worth their salt in this age is going to be like, I don't need it to look fancy. I need it to not break on me. I need it to not chip on me, and I need to be able to hold it without it slipping out of my grip.
Yes,
these are important things.
Overlook, absolutely.
Yeah, but if you get to a lord, they might have a fancy one. Apparently, they think we're going to have 5 lords in the show.
Well, 6 because he's got one in his hand. So
I think that's a dagger, though. Or no. That's actually another one. He's holding the blade.
Well, look how thin. I don't know, man. They're terrible. I don't know. The art team for this show is just awful. I'm sorry. And maybe they're given art to go off of, and they have no choice. But whoever's designed,
I pity the artisans because the artisans are getting to get like
the art direction for this show, whether it's props or costumes, is just been bad. It's so terrible, so bad.
Yeah. I can't even stay on this anymore. So the next one. So other artisans, not a whole lot. We can't really see what they're working on.
The huffing paint room. This is where they go before they write the next scene. They go huff some paint and moving on.
Pretty much. I'm assuming he's holding the swords, and it's just the same as the previous slide. They put way too much time into some of the small stuff. And I guess I'll use my comment that I was planning to save for the end anyway. Why didn't you just hire somebody like WoT Workshop to do this stuff? Because they literally made like 10,000 weapons, 10,000 suits of armor for the Lord of the Rings, and they made really good stuff. And that was in the early 2000s.
I would assume they have that inventory still sitting around that they could probably use. Just be like, can we rent all your swords? We'll just rent all your swords.
We can take your guys' stuff and work with it because we're already abandoning all the actual cultural accurate stuff anyway. So
all they need to
do is
the main character weapons, make them unique. The rest don't need to be. That's it.
pretty much.
Yep. Agreed.
All right, on to the next one. Oh, back to horse anonymous
That is
man.
an awesome shot of a beam.
Well, it's not a beam. It's a camera holder. But yeah.
Well, camera beam. I know. There's like a beam, like for I don't know, whatever.
I like the time of day because it's not bloody hot, and I'm not losing my eyesight because I don't like bright things. I like unless it's snow. I love snow for whatever reason. The brightness of snow doesn't bother me. The brightness of an orange reddish sky bothers me like crazy. But
I'm
you can obviously tell they're
be tinkers in the waste. That might be what it is.
It could be, but again, I
don't know.
They don't look like tinkers. They don't look like hippies.
No, they don't. But
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Like even show tinker hippies, like they don't look like them. They look very much almost Saudi Arabian. So I'm thinking they're supposed to be Taraboners or something. I don't know, but I don't like the idea of having a waste over there because that's not what the surrounding geography is.
Yeah. But, I don't know.
Anyway, on to the next one. More waste.
More, yeah, probably.
So things that have been stated about scenes like this, and we'll get an up close shot. Big rocks, hard to traverse in. Makes me think Tinker's not coming through with their wagons because they're big giant rocks that would break the wheels or the axles.
Absolutely.
But you can tell they're going to be using this kind of area for a lot of things, and you can tell it's kind of a wasteland. So you think this wouldn't be a bad Aiel waste. I can see this being an Aiel waste.
Yeah.
Almost guarantee you it's not the Aiel waste.
I don't think it is either. Yeah.
Now, the funny thing is that they have this ginormous wheel. If you
what is that? I see it.
That's supposed to be holding a person and or a corpse.
It looks like somebody's strapped to it. So this is going to be more White Cloaks burning of another Aes Sedai probably somewhere.
No. Aes Sedai don't have hands when they're in the hands of White Cloaks, so they can't hold them up.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. You forgot that they cut their hands off instead of just killing them outright because a crossbow bolt in the dark, totally not the White Cloak style.
Yeah, because you need your hands to channel, right? Oh my god.
The pain,
what is this?
the agony.
What do we think this is then?
Well, the thing is because the way they've been using the shots, either using the same shot of a wasteland for the Almoth Plain territory that they're using in the Aiel Waste, which makes no sense because they're on the complete opposite side of the world from each other. Yeah. Or the continent, I should say, more accurately. And I think like that wheel would make more sense in the Aiel Waste. But here's the thing. Nothing produced in this age has a wheel that big.
Yeah.
A wagon wheel is not that big. That's like Grond, like the big siege battering ram from Lord of the Rings size big.
Yeah.
There's nothing in this series that does that. It's not a wagon wheel, although if you get an up close shot of it.
Well, they just built a torture wheel.
they just built a random torture wheel in the middle of the desert, and I have more detail on that because there is another slide with the wheel in it up close, and I'll explain it. It's okay. It makes no sense, but there's a person looking like they're attached to it, so we'll get into that as we get there as well.
Yeah,
it looks like the guy's holding. He's like setting up this corpse or something. I'm assuming it's probably a skeleton or something of that nature, a rotting flesh corpse. Anyway, on to the next one. Rosamund Pike. Personally, I'm not impressed by her acting. But maybe she's better in other things. And
she's better in other things. Boo.
I mean, I don't know her very well. I mean, maybe she's a great actress. I don't know. She doesn't really pull the Moraine off, in my opinion.
I don't think so either.
I think she was given. I think I'll give her the benefit of the doubt and say she was given the direction by Rafe and his crew to go a specific route.
I don't know,
and that's how she went.
Yeah. I don't know if it's her or the writing, but I mean, having her on
it could be both, but it's
be.
Definitely the writing at least.
I think having her on this show is a detriment to the show because they're forcing Moraine out front and center too much, and it's going to continue. So
Moraine's always been a supporting character, but for whatever reason, they're making her the main character.
Name. She's the name. She's the only big name in the show.
Yes, but if you have a supporting character that's a big name, it's like Ian McKellen playing Gandalf to Elijah Wood, who's playing Frodo. People know Ian McKellen. Not as many people are big on Elijah Wood. So it became Elijah Wood's big stepping stone because they had a bigger name, I should say. I don't know if he was necessarily a big name, but they had a bigger name in those films, you're like, oh, we have Ian Holmes, we have Ian McKellen. I hate myself for this. Why can I not think of his name? Saruman. Why, brain? Why must you curse me?
Christopher. Man, I've got recording brain.
Christopher Lee. Christopher Lee.
There you go. Dang.
Goodness, why am I doing that to myself?
Good Lord.
I know.
Me too. Sorry.
I know, right? But they have they're flipping Christopher Lee on set. He's not a main character. He's a supporting character of the story. Yeah. He even gets killed off like early the Return of the King. Like it's not even a big thing. Like he's a player for some of it, like in Fellowship of the Ring, a little bit of the Two Towers, but he's not like always on the screen. She is always on the screen. And it doesn't make much sense because of what happens to her character in the story, which means they're making a lot of changes to keep her front and center, because the rate they're doing it, she might as well become the Dragon Reborn and go face the Dark One and Sheo Ghul.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's about as accurate as I've gotten so far. But I mean, I'm sure she's a nice lady. I probably don't like her as an actress because most actresses are kind of jerks, and I probably don't like her because of that. And probably other viewpoints that Hollywood typically sticks to, like the well, I'm not gonna get into that stuff. Anyway, I'll dodge that bullet. Yeah. Anyway, maybe she's a sweetheart. I don't know her from Adam. Whatever. On to the next one.
Yeah.
Now this looks like it's the reading room in full swing. Yeah. And Nynaeve's starting to contemplate the choices she's making in life.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Rand's bald.
At least it looks like Rand's in the middle. That's the only comment I have about this.
I can't tell if Rand's in the middle or Moiraine's. I don't know if he's actually in the middle because of how long the table is. We can't actually see.
I can't tell.
But there's the microphone in front of some random person we don't know.
Is that Elaine?
That might be Elaine, actually. Because the one next to her on the far left is the other is supposed to be. Is that supposed to be Alana?
I think that's Alana.
I always thought Alana had blonde hair, so that's why it's throwing me off.
Well, Alana is complete. Well, whatever. I'm not good. Alana, if you see my tier list, Alana can go, to
the bottom.
But yeah, but I think if I had to guess, I think you got Alana, Elaine, Nynaeve, Rand, Morgaze.
Honestly, her as Morgaze probably wouldn't have been a
could have worked, yeah. And then you got Perrin, and then I can't see who's past that, but
somebody scratching their head and knows what the heck's going on.
Yeah. It's definitely not. Maybe it's Donald Flynn as Matt. I don't know. Can't tell.
He's much younger.
He looks like an old guy if I could tell, but I don't know.
Yeah, he looks like an old guy who's balding or has his hair cut like Rand.
Yeah, so can't quite tell.
Joshua, whatever his name is. Anyway,
Josh
on to the next
Stradowski, I guess. I can never pronounce anybody's name, so
Stradowski, I think, but whatever. Mike Stradowski. Or Wachowski. Mike Wachowski. Monsters Inc. Sorry.
Mike Wazowski.
Right. Mike Wazowski, thank you. Wachowski.
So this is going wait. Prediction.
This is the wheel.
This is a Scene Chan torture device. There you go.
A Scene Chan? You mean a Sean Chan?
I said Scene Chan, didn't I? Sean Chan. Yes. I always do that. I don't know why. Sean.
When you say Scene Chan, I'm thinking of a little Japanese girl asking her older brother, "What have you seen, Chan?"
This is gonna be a Sean Chan torture device because they like putting ball gags in their casters' mouths.
Well, I always thought they were like big. What are they called? Little baby pacifiers.
Oh, okay.
They're pacifying the women because apparently they think the women talk too much and too loudly, so they have
there you go.
Shut them up somehow. And then they have the women behind them shouting really loud because why? Why would you have to tell them what to do? You're literally linked to them with the eye dot. Oh my gosh.
Well, they gotta whip them too. Well, no, is that in the prop? I don't know. I don't know. For another time. Moving on.
don't get people excited now. Anyway, so you have this wheel. Notice the quality of the wheel. It looks like a brand freaking new wheel.
Yeah, that's why it's
buried
fresh
in rocks. But here's the thing: is it the waist or is it the Almoth Plane? It wouldn't make sense in either situation.
It fell from the heavens. You see, and that's why it's in the rock, I guess.
You mean the creator's just like, hey, have a really nice brand new wheel with wraps on it for your kinky sex life.
The creator's like, here's a torture device. Go. and just shot it down from heaven. There you
I
go.
mean, if it's in the Aiel Waste, I'm assuming they use it as like some sort of exhibitionist bondage equipment or
I have
something.
no idea what it is.
If they use it on the planet, it's the same thing, just not the Aiel this time. Like, but if you look
Oh
at it,
boy.
the wheel is larger than a person.
Well, and so the stupid brain of mine is now going to try and retrieve parts of the book where this would be a thing, and I can't find one.
I mean, how many wagon wheels are larger than 6 foot?
I'm trying to figure out where the torture scene is in Wheel of Time. So
Yeah, because the Aiel don't torture you. They
trying
they
to
literally strip you of all your clothes, give you like half
maybe
a water
this
bag,
is
and let you run.
is this Ryuden? Ryuden, I can
Ruidion?
Ryuden, whatever.
Ruidion.
Ruidian? I don't know. That place.
Um, I would say yes, but again, they would just kill you on sight because you're too close to the holy city.
I don't know.
But
man.
then you'd also, and that's the other thing is like I can't tell if it's supposed to be a like it's a rock wasteland of some sort, but
maybe that's just their break table. That has nothing to do with the show. They just go, I'm gonna go strap myself to the wheel for a little bit, guys. Take a break.
It could be a kid toy. It could be where the kids strap themselves to it and they roll them down the hill.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know.
It's like, whee!
It doesn't remind me of anything. Doesn't remind me of anything Wheel of Time though. That's for sure.
Well, sure it does. It's a wheel.
No, it's a torture device. We've already been there.
I know, but
we've already figured that out.
The Wheel of Time. It's wheel with 7 spokes.
Okay. All right. All right. Children. I thought it was a jungle gym. I could see kids jumping all over that thing.
Yeah, and somebody was awfully nice to put rocks around it to hold it in place.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if that was a wheel, if that was a wheel on a wagon, that's totally what you would do.
Yeah, of course.
And you just like leave a brand new wagon wheel sitting in the desert because reasons. But I think the Aiel do use carts and wagons to transport goods from places.
It's definitely
but I don't think it's their normal stuff, but that's way too big to be a wagon wheel.
Whatever this is, it's meant to be a torture device of some sort. I don't know for who
or a punishment
or
or something.
Or punishment or something. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Maybe Rand first enters the waste and they strap him up to it because they're like, he's a foreigner. He carries a sword. Yeah. And then Moraine shows up to save the day and is like, by the way, I am like your wise woman, Ice Die person. You have to listen to me kind of thing. And then bosses everyone around into letting Rand go. And then, all that happens. That's my guesstimation. It's probably horribly wrong, but I can't. Who knows?
It's bad enough to be right. We'll just leave it at that.
I know, right? It's terrible being right all the time. Anyway, next one. Now, this scene actually, I know what it's part of because it comes later on. But essentially, there's a scene that they have behind the scenes where essentially they have a guy grabbed and he's like flung over somebody else's back and lands another direction. So this is the zip line essentially that they use to yank him to make it look like the guy who clearly is not able to do this is either going to use the power to use it, which means it could be Rand doing it, or somebody who's just supposed to be a stronger character grabs and flings. And this is kind of just them practicing that scene out.
Gotcha.
You'll get a couple of the shots that aren't very good, but they'll basically show. I'll point it out when I get there because it shows them like grabbing him and flinging him.
Cool.
But not a whole lot besides that's the scene that they're going to do. Where that's supposed to fit the series, I have no flipping idea. So, next one. Back to the artisans working on random props.
Looks like I don't know. Who cares?
Isn't that the box that they use the dagger in?
Yeah, I think that is the dagger box. So
why are they using the dagger box in season 2? He didn't take the box; he took the dagger.
He took the whole box in the show. Remember, he took the horn and everything. Yeah, Fane left with it under his arm. He took.
No! I'm talking about the one that Matt in the show finds. Oh no! I thought the dagger in a box.
I think this is the Horn of Valir box with the dagger. So I guess Fane's already using the dagger.
But where did Fane get the dagger? Because it was in Tar Valon.
I forgot he's already got the dagger in the show. My bad. I blanked out. Sorry. I think that's the Horn of Valir box.
I think the writers blanked out too because they clearly didn't see
what writers. There's writers. Oh, sorry. My bad.
Good point. They just ad-lib the entire series. Like, we know you guys didn't really read the books, so just do what you think is good, and we'll fix it all in.
Here's a list of things that need to be in it. Just do however you want to put them in there. Just get them in there.
I can't even. But I feel bad for the artisans because it's not the artisans' fault.
Oh no,
it's really not.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think.
I mean, I think it's the artisans' fault that they're making poorly made props, but I don't know if it's necessarily their fault because they are given the instructions of what they want it to look like and they have to deal with that. But
yeah, exactly.
I've seen cosplayers make better props than some of these professional artisans, which makes absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah, the art design is terrible, all the way across.
Sad days. On to the next one. Hey, they're doing a kind of a reading.
Hey, that's exactly how the series is going to go. She's going to be looking at Rand like, "You idiot! I'm the best."
And he's going to have his eyes downcast,
and he's going to be crying or talking about how much he loves Egwene. All right, we get a shot of the future.
Oh, don't forget he'll be using the really horrible, bad, like slum British accent because out in the country with country bumpkins, they all sound like they're from the inner city slums.
There you go. Well, yeah, he's not.
I never understood that.
Has anybody called Rand a sheep herder once in this? I have to.
Or a wool-headed idiot.
A wool-headed sheep herder. I mean, I know Rand says.
Lan, where is your line?
Yeah, Rand says blood and bloody ashes instead of Matt. That's the only time they say that too. So
And Matt just says every other normalized swear word that's not a Wheel of Time swear word.
Yeah, exactly.
Why not? Yeah. Like we had a perfectly amazing set of hilarious swear words that Robert Jordan himself creates, and we can't even utilize them. And then Uno never talks.
Yeah,
which is also weird.
Yeah. Well, we'll see if that changes here in season 2.
I wonder what they're reading, but it's probably from a scene.
It's got to be brief because Rand's reading, so it'll only be a brief scene.
True. This is him saying, "Goodbye, Moraine," and then it's his line.
I'm taking a dragon nap. Bye.
I'm taking a dragon hiatus from the series.
I'm gonna go hide in Falme while you guys do all the stuff until the last episode.
I will be fighting in Sheol Ghul, even though I don't know where it is. So I'll be over there. You guys do your thing, and then I'll come back and pop in for a scene and be like, "By the way, that didn't go according to plan," and then walk somewhere else.
I read this prophecy where I'm supposed to be here, so I'll just camp there till you guys are ready for me. All right.
Wait, you're saying I just have to spill my blood? Okay,
yeah, there we go.
Now, the Dark One's defeated, right? Like that's all it takes because shallow readings of any art literature is just the best way to do anything.
Oh my God. Sheol Ghul isn't even mentioned in the show, is it?
I think it's mentioned once, but it's mostly where the Dark One is, and they're like, "It's at the Dark One is bound by at the Eye of the World," and we're like,
"But wait
what?
a second.
The Eye of the World is literally a moving object, and it has literally nothing to do with the Dark One.
Yeah, exactly.
At all. It's literally pure Sidene. That's all it is. It's pure Sidene that's never been touched.
There's no Sidene in the show. There's no Sidene in the show. What are you talking about?
The only binary in this show is I'm better than you.
Yeah. Sorry, we're getting off track. Holy crap. We could talk about this shit stuff forever. Excuse me. Sorry, lost my tongue. Sorry, the prophet came out of me.
You mean this flaming garbage fire?
This blood and bloody ashes.
Use the proper WoT lingo, man. Yeah. Come on, what's wrong with you?
Anyway, woolhead.
All right. Wool-headed, rhyming sheep herder. Anyway, on to the next one. This is that other scene. This is the guy who's leaning over him. Yeah. Is the guy who's taking the guy from the previous slide with the zip line on him because he's wearing that harness.
Slamming him down.
He grabs him and flings him into the air onto this pad. What they're doing in here, I'm assuming, is practicing for the stunt guys.
Yeah, probably.
That's my assumption.
Yeah, I was wondering why there's a rock wall back there, but on wood. But
I would assume it's because they're probably sharing a studio with other people who are making films and stuff.
With the Sky Zone?
Because Amazon's totally broken right now. So
okay.
they have broken. They're broken and broke. They have no money.
I thought they just they went and practiced props at the trampoline park.
Probably not wrong. I wonder how long they're gonna do the trampoline dodgeball system.
Yeah, there you go.
That'd be fun. All right, so that's basically the scene. What it could be in the actual show, I have no
who
idea
knows?
because it doesn't make sense because I don't recall anyone being flung over anyone.
There's a lot of grappling, in the Wheel of Time. Not much sword fighting, but grappling.
Actually, to be fair, the Aiel are like excellent grapplers, so that would make sense to some extent.
I guess, but
not to the point where it makes any like actual like written scream time. Like,
yeah,
I don't know what they would do with it. But anyway, on to the next one. We're back to
power stance.
All
I can think of is the girls in power stance. There, she's like, "Boom, I'm in charge."
Well, she's got a little bit of that. What do they call it? The inner knee stance, which is supposed to be the kawaii girl stance that they've been talking about in Japan.
Okay.
You know, it's a little thing where you like a girl bends her knees in a little bit, but keeps her feet planted in the process, and it's supposed to be the cute girl look for Japanese culture that everyone in the Western culture apparently has a problem with. So,
because I'm just like between the power stance and the look on her face, I feel like she just wants to slap that guy.
Oh, that's actually the Rings of Power. That's Galadriel. Her power stance.
My bad. Sorry, my bad.
I don't know if you saw her on the latest cover of Empire.
I did. She's fantastic, isn't she? She's the best ever.
Look at that power stance with the evilest eye ever. It looks great.
She can jump up an ice cliff with the knife. I don't know what to do.
I mean, they're elves. They should be able to do that without the knife, but whatever.
Yeah, well, why is she there anyways? But we're getting.
I think that's supposed to be them crossing the ice across the top. But I don't think she was part of that crew. I think she was in a ship. But anyway, back to Wheel of Time.
Okay, sorry.
I mean, to be fair, they are related. They're both done by Amazon.
Yes,
so.
Yeah, that's true.
I bet she'll show up. She'll show up in Lothlorien, the desert. Those trees are actually made of stone.
With a wheel. The wheel's going to be there. It's just going to be sitting there. It's like, why is there a wheel here?
That's what is it? Celeborn and Galadriel's kinky lifestyle.
That'd just be funny if like somebody's in jail and they're strapped to that same wheel in Rings of Power. It's like, oh my god, they do share props. Amazing.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the same Starbucks coffee cup shows up in somebody's table.
Exactly. There you
go. So again, this could be either Almoth Plain or the Aiel Waste. They're like, I don't know why it's so difficult to say that. Outside of the Aiel Waste, there's like no deserts anywhere.
They're not showing much, so yeah.
Or other wastelands, but whatever. At least it's rock and not sand. That's the only thing I can give them credit for in that regard.
Well, it depends.
Anyway, next one. We got Lan and Moraine because #me too.
Is this where they tell us how excited they are to show us whatever show this is they are making? It has a season
more or less smiles and stuff.
I wonder if they can get some bigger frames on those glasses.
Like to cover his entire face. It's just one visor.
it's just one lens that covers their whole face.
One lens to rule them all. One lens to blind them. One lens to bring them all. And in the sunlight, blind them.
I have this picture of just one giant oval thing with two like glasses, frame to hold it on her ears. It's just one big lens.
They're probably designer glasses, which I think is even funnier because designer glasses are probably some of the most hideous glasses I've ever seen in my life.
That is so funny.
And to me, they look like it looks like Daniel Laboratory. They look like Dexter Laboratory square glasses.
Well, it's like if I am to infer because I can see a reflection in Daniel Henney Land's glasses, it looks like he's looking at that dude's butt.
That or the Matrix. One of those two.
He's looking at his butt back there. What's he doing?
Maybe the Matrix is the butt. I don't know.
He's checking out that guy.
This guy's on the camera, so that makes sense. Anyway, maybe he'll go later and nipple twist for him.
Yeah. It is the Lost Warder technique, the atomic nipple twist.
Hey, do you know that if a warder is near Shadow Spawn and twists his nipples, it kills all of the Shadow Spawn within like a 10,000 mile radius?
I heard they all explode violently.
Yeah, it's pretty gory. Yeah. And I mean, but he has this invisible shield around him so that he doesn't get any blood splattered on him.
Stronger than a Drakar's croon is what I've heard. Yes.
Well, I mean, to be fair, a Drakar's croon's not really strong. It's just powerful. Anyway. I think it was more like it's stronger than a Drakar's calzone or something. I don't know. Anyway, on to the next one.
Yeah.
More Moraine because we need more Moraine.
Who's making that weird face? Is that Egwene's character making that face over there?
No, that's not a Gawain.
It looks like she's
But it is somebody
off.
doing. They're supposed to be, I think, clapping, but it looks like she's doing the bird thing with her hands, with like flapping her wings.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really sure what's going on with that, but somebody in the room was probably offended, so they couldn't clap, so they had to like snap their fingers or something.
Oh, okay. That sounds about it. I think that's accurate.
That sounds about right. And then the one person in the back room that's not wearing a mask because the rest of them are all going to die.
Yeah.
This series is doomed to fail just because all the actors will die from coronavirus because they apparently did not take proper
procedures. This is some top-notch analysis we're doing here.
I know, right? Hey, they're eating, so the coronavirus just said, "Oh, I'll pause and wait for you guys outside."
There you go.
So anyway, that's the table and a bunch of random people. I think we got that.
Oh. No, don't watch season 1. I was gonna say I felt like that was close to the end of those, but yeah.
Well, yeah, they were kind of like the same shots you could have had. I could have taken them like this is how they were shown, but I could have taken them and put them in like actual order of how they were like taken shots of, and it would make more sense probably. But I just wanted to show it the way you actually look at it.
Can I also say something? I don't.
No, you can't.
I don't.
You haven't done that for a whole hour. You can't say anything.
True, right? I hate the logo.
I don't really know what it's supposed to be because the actual logo on the books, it goes into the infinity status.
Why don't they just
Ouroboros kind of look?
Why didn't they just use an Aes Sedai symbol and be done with it? The yin and yang, and just call it a day.
Well, to be fair, there is no yin yang because there's no black and white.
That is true. I guess that's why they didn't do it. So yeah, you're right.
Well, the thing is that it's supposed to be a binary, and you can't have a binary in this show because. Yeah. I mean, even the men and women aren't even actually men and women because that would hint at a binary.
Yeah.
So, pretty much because the one power in the show is not a binary, it's literally a thing. But at the same time, Moraine's like, I'm not going to teach you how to use yours. Not because it's two separate pieces of the same pool. It's because she doesn't feel like it. Like, I'm going to go fling you at the dark one. But I'm not going to teach you anything with the same magic that we both can use.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Which, by the way, you remember the scene, I think it's in episode 4 or 5, when Stepan goes flying at Logain, who has weaves on him, and the axe gets stuck in the weaves?
I don't even want to talk about it. Yes, I do remember it.
It was so bad. I was like, wait a minute. Wait just a dadgum minute. You can't, like, weaves... God. Their shields do not block physical objects.
Well, there's like,
it's not a physical thing. It's magic.
The axe is sort of in there, so now I could break it and kill everybody. It's like, this is stupid.
Well, he shatters it. I'm like, okay, first off, it's like metaphysical versus physical. Metaphysical is not affected by physical. Magic is a metaphysical unless it takes the specific form of physical, like a fireball would be physical fire. Yeah. It's not a spiritual fire or anything. It's a physical fire. So you have the shield, and the shield would be not a literal shield. It's a spiritual shield because it cuts you off from the source.
Yes.
So you can't channel the one power. That's literally all that thing, that little weird black-white net thingy that they had going over Logain. That's all that would be, is literally covering him. And it doesn't have to press on him. It just has to be like a bubble. It literally only had to be a bubble.
It's just so stupid. It's just so stupid.
Well, I mean, it was stupid when they're like, hey, let's have warders who don't use swords.
Well, there's so much. You could go into all kinds of things that are stupid. Like, why? It's like, just tie off the weave. Like, showing that you can't tie off a weave is like, it just shows you.
Technically, you can break off a tied off weave. So they always have one person maintaining it. Is typically the smart way to play it.
It's the smart way to do it. But, having to say, oh, the 3 strongest channelers have to see there and maintain the shield, blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, you've just ruined half of the other storylines you need.
When Rand got nabbed by the
we had 7 knots plus somebody maintaining it, so
yeah, but I mean, technically he could break out of it, but they're making Logain seem way more powerful than he really is. Like, they're making him seem like he could probably just like look at a mountain and it'll like explode into dust. Just like, he's not that powerful. Like, he's powerful, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, he's strong, but
he's not Rand's level by any means, but he's still up there. Like, he's more powerful than the average Aes Sedai from the White Tower by far.
Well, I guess they don't do a good job of like. I guess in terms of everybody around him, he is much more powerful than all of them. But they don't.
They go overkill with that because they do the whole show and tell thing where like they're trying to show it like his power instead of like telling you his power from a normalized perspective. Like you can tell it through showing it if you do it a specific way. But the way they're showing it is just like, oh, look at him. He can break shields, which explodes metal, which is going to cut everyone in the room like shrapnel perfectly. And just everyone's going to be there dead. And then Nynaeve's going to have an emotional fit of rage and just supernova heal everyone. Because, you know, every instance in the Wheel of Time books did not have someone touching someone else. Oh, that. Let's not talk about the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You guys should totally watch season 1.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to do a rewatch just so I'm ready for it, but oh my god.
I can get you a copy so you don't have to watch it online.
Oh god.
This is dreadful.
Yeah, agreed. So cool, we made it at least. I'm so hyped. Make it. I'm so hyped with all that sizzle reel stuff that doesn't sizzle.
Sizzle. It's like, woo! I'm gonna like totally make all this stuff that makes absolutely no sense to anyone because we're not putting any context in it. But Morocco,
we don't want people tearing apart our terrible narrative, so we're not going to show them anything.
Especially the stats of first season. I would love to see those stats.
Who else did that? Oh, Rings of Power is doing that right now. They're afraid
hiding
to show
their
anything.
Stuff. Oh yeah, they're not showing anything.
They're so afraid.
That's hilarious.
Yes, sir.
Well, that was fun.
Yes, we made it fun. There you go.
If by fun you mean painful, and I want to go just do terrible things to myself to just get this out of my system, but yes, maybe a good old burrito from Taco Bell to just go flush.
I thought you were going to find the nearest 10-foot long circumference wheel and strap yourself to it.
I mean, that sounds pretty kinky, so I might go do that. But. Yeah, so thanks everybody for hanging out with us, and I'd like to thank you, Prophet, for hanging out. I know it was quite the hectic time trying to find scheduling.
Oh yeah, well at least we got it done, so hopefully things are a little less hectic. I can actually start making videos and stuff again. So
I know, right?
Yeah, it'd be good.
It's always good
hanging out with other people. Yeah, it's always fun.
I just want to make a random point all of a sudden that the M and the W in the Wheel of Time are literally the same thing. They're so lazy they made the exact same thing. They just flipped it upside down.
And they look stupid.
They look stupid. But I don't know why that just stood out to me for a second. I was just like, wait a minute. That's literally the same thing. They just flipped it upside down.
Yep. And they look stupid. Yep.
You want to go ahead and plug yourself, good sir?
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah, Prophet of the Dragon on YouTube, making Wheel of Time content, doing some live streams. Hopefully have you on over there for some.
Any potential content you're planning on working on? Or
I'm working on stuff. Well, right now, I actually, just before we got on here, I just was doing, just because I haven't made a video in a while, made a video on some articles that sort of rubbed me the wrong way on Wheel of Time, and then...
They all do.
Yeah, they all of them, yeah. So, and then trying to figure out what my next live stream is going to be, but probably get some guys together and talk about potentially what we're going to get in season 2, what we'd like to see, what we're actually going to get instead of what we want to see, stuff like that. So, and then maybe some deeper dives into what they've done to the characters in season 1 and why it's
they haven't done anything to the characters. They just pretty much eviscerated them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. So just looking at that and why further into the seasons it's going to be even worse just because they've already taken key roles away from key players. So stuff like that.
Oh, well, cool. So guys, definitely check them out. You probably already know about him, but if you don't, by some random rare chance, go check him out and see what he's got. I know he did some cool live streams a couple days ago. Check out those stuff, and it's a fun, good time. I believe, if I remember correctly, I don't remember how, it was like a week and a half ago or something. You did like a live stream with your son, didn't you?
Yeah, my son watched the series with me.
I don't remember the date. I'm terrible with dates, but
yeah, it was.
I remember it happening because I was there. But
I want to say it was about a week and a half ago, but it's still up on the channel. My son watched the show with me, and then decided to read the book after. So I just sort of talked to him about that experience and
the proper way to torture your children.
Yes, absolutely.
Alrighty. Well, I think we'll go ahead and call it there just before an hour and 10 minutes. So, yeah, it's a lot longer than I was expecting myself.
Well, we can stretch anything out. That just goes to prove even you give us the littlest bit, we'll overanalyze it till it's dead.
I mean, I'm going to beat that horse as long as I can because
there you go.
There's a lot of horse there to beat.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'd like to thank you again, good sir, for hanging out. And
anytime.
Everybody else, thanks for watching and hanging out with us. I'm hoping to do some more of these. Probably bring Prophet back again more often, and maybe see if we can get lucky with some other people, and maybe end up getting a more larger collaboration of multiple people. Would be fun. I think that might be a little long, but I'd still like to do it. And yeah, walk in the light, my friends.